All right. So right now we are moving into the conversational sessions. That's the panel sessions. In these sessions, we will have people who are very learned in matters of women rights, gender equality, gender equity, and all that, who will speak to us. We'll ask them questions, and then they will answer us. And from these questions, we will learn a lot. So please let's go along. Now, it will interest you to know that this panel is made up of all men. Isn't it interesting that it is men that are coming to talk to us about women's rights? I'm sure some people would have thought that it's only women that will be here today. But no, on the first panel here, we have men who are also genuinely interested in the advancement of women's rights. And so on this panel with me today, I have Professor Gbenga Onabamiro, who is the director of the Center for Human Rights and Gender Studies of the Taisho University of Education, Ijagun, Ijebu-Ode. Please 1 minute, sir, because we will still have to read your profile before you come up. I'm so sorry, Prof. We also have on this panel Chief Dapo Oke, and I will speak about him, separately, very shortly, about his role in us even bringing this program together. He has been a very great supporter of what we are doing here, and I must thank him very profusely. But I will do that, in a separate message. Thank you. And then we have on this panel with us again, Dr. Babatunde Chief Dapo Oke is the registrar of the Taisho University of Education, Ijagun. We also have on this panel, Dr. Babatunde Jesusina is the Director of Medical Services. I know many of you know him. He's the Director of Medical Services at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. Thank you, sirs, for being here. Right, let me welcome you, sirs. Thank you very much for making the time to be at this event today. We're really grateful, sirs. And so we will get to business right away. All right, so our panel is titled Everyday Equality, Transforming Traditions for Gender Equity. What are the things we can do in everyday life? Yes, thank you, sir. Prof is grateful that he doesn't have to speak Yoruba. Thank you so much, sir. All right, so what are the things we can do every day? You will agree with me that women go through a lot. In this room already this morning, we have talked about a lot. And there are days when you may even think that you really almost conclude that being a woman is a disadvantage, or that, well, it's a man's world, like a lot of people say. And it's not true. So what are the things that we all can do every day to be able to transform the realities that we experience? And so my first question will be going to Professor Onabamiro. Prof, there are many people who do not understand the principles of gender equality, feminism, women's rights. When you talk about these things, many people just turn off. Like yesterday, I was speaking to someone about our program. The person said, do women even have rights? You should better go and sit down somewhere. Your rights are in the kitchen. You stop disturbing yourselves. And so I know that there are a lot of people who hold this kind of beliefs. In fact, when you begin to talk about feminism, for example, when you say I'm a feminist, even women will say, no, I'm not a feminist. No, as though it's a very bad thing. And so people find it offensive. Some people think this is our culture, this is our tradition, you are just challenging it. So what can we do? What are the things that, what do these principles even mean? Say feminism, when we say gender equality, when we say women's rights, what do these things mean?
Yeah, thank you very much, the chairman and the moderator.
Thank you, sir.
And I greet our mothers here and the fathers that are here as well. I don't want to be partial. Yes, these principles of feminism, women's rights or whatever, I will say that they are not what we can call a rocket science. When we say rocket science, they are not something difficult to understand, not so complex that we cannot understand what they mean. But the problem we have is that when we know, as human beings, we want to pretend that we do not know. When we see, we want to pretend that we do not see. That is why we still need to start, telling us what the principles of gender equality, feminism, or whatever mean. But these principles only boils on the fact that we need to recognize men and women as being cut from the same cloth, meaning that they come as ordained by God. You know, the Bible says, males and females, he created ye them. It is because they are created to complement one another. So we should not say that one is more equal than other, or that one is superior to other. Let us look at the suits, or the buba and shokoto that we put on, or buba and iro that we put on. Can we say that buba is more important than the shokoto or the iro, and put on only the buba without putting on either the trousers or the top? We know that the two, they are cut from the same cloth and they perform the same function, though at different parts. While the top covers the upper part of the body, the trousers cover the lower part of the body. Do we now want to say, if anybody should come inside here putting on only the top without either the buba, or either the trousers or the skirt or the wrapper, we are going to look at that person as being sick, or that something is wrong. And even if that person wants to sit down beside you, something is wrong. So that is how we can look at the gender. We are equal. We are equal, and we should look at ourselves as such and make sure that we don't look down on anybody. One should not claim superiority over another, and at the same time, it's just about leveling the playing ground where everybody, male and female, we have equal chance of to succeed and to strive in everything that we do. It is when we understand this as this, that we are to complement one another. We are the same. Male and female are the same. That things can go on well as expected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you. All right. So we have had our interpreter join us so that we can just interpret as we go. Because I don't want anybody to be lost during the conversation. So ohun tí mo ń sọ ni pé àwọn màmá wa tí wọ́n máa bá wa túmọ̀ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ní Yorùbá tá a bá ṣe ń sọ, torí pé mi ò fẹ́ ká sọ ẹnikẹ́ni nù bá bá ṣe ń sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. We're very grateful for your insights. My next question will go to Chief Dapo Oke. All right, but before then, please let her interpret what Prof has said.
Ẹ kú kalẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀yin màmá wa, mo kí yín lọ́kùnrin, mo kí yín lóbìnrin, mo kí wa púpọ̀. Àwọn dádì wa wọ́n ti sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀ lórí jíjẹ́ obìnrin. Wọ́n ti sọ púpọ̀, wọ́n sọ wípé kì í ṣe wípé a ò mọ̀ ohun tó ń jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ obìnrin. Kò dé ìtún ṣe wípé a kò mọ̀ wípé obìnrin ó ní ẹ̀tọ́, ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ obìnrin náà nípa tó ní láti kó, àti pé àti ọkùnrin àti obìnrin pé bákan náà ni Ọlọ́run ṣe dá wa, nítorí pé Bíbélì sọ wípé àtakọ àtabo ni ó dá wọn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ wá tún sọ fún wa wípé àparò kan kò ga jù kan lọ àfi tó bá gun orí ebè. ṣùgbọ́n lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ gbà gbogbo nǹkan ìwọ̀nyí la mọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n a máa ń ṣe bíi pé a kò mọ̀ wọ́n gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyí la máa ń rí ṣùgbọ́n a máa ń gbójú kúrò bíi pé a kò rí wọn. Wọ́n tún wá tún fi yé wa lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà wípé ẹ̀tọ́ obìnrin kò ń ṣe nǹkan tí a gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ wípé gbogbo nǹkan tó yẹ kóbìnrin ṣe ló gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe. Àwọn ọkùnrin pé kò yẹ kọ́kùnrin máa fi ọwọ́ rọ́ obìnrin sẹ́yìn nítorí pé obìnrin Ọlọ́run dá wa ní àrà ọ̀tọ̀, Ọlọ́run dá wa ní ìṣẹ̀dá tiwa lára ọ̀tọ̀ ni, kì í ṣe wípé ajẹ́ni tí a lè fọwọ́ rọ́ sẹ́yìn tàbí ajẹ́ni tí a lè wò bíi pé kò jẹ́ nǹkan kan. Wọ́n wá ṣe àpẹẹrẹ aṣọ tá a máa ń wọ̀ wípé tá a bá wọ bùbá tá a bá tún rorò pé ṣáà lè sọ wípé bùbá ló ṣe pàtàkì jù ró lọ ni àbí ìró ló ṣe pàtàkì ju bùbá lọ. Wípé táni kan bá wá síbí tó bá wọ bùbá tí ò wọ ṣòkòtò sí, ṣé a ò ní wò pé ṣé nǹkan ń ṣe léyìí ni, tàbí tó wọ ṣòkòtò tí ò fi bùbá lé lórí, ṣé a ò ní máa fojú wò pé kí ló ń ṣe léyìí. Wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni obìnrin ṣe jẹ́, kì í ṣe wípé ọmọ kan ló dáa nítorí pé léyìí jẹ́ ọkùnrin ó dáa ju obìnrin lọ tàbí pé léyìí jóbìnrin ó dáa ju, no, pé ìkọ̀kan náà gbogbo wa jọ jẹ́ ní ìpele ibi tán sì ṣe é dé nìyẹn. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. We're really grateful. Look at the vibrancy that she brought. Please, let's put our hands together for her again. Thank you so much, ma. All right, so my next question is to Chief Dapo Oke. So, Chief, many of us grow up with clear ideas about the roles of men and women, just like Prof was saying. This is what a man can do. This is what a woman cannot do. You are a boy. You are a girl. Do you think that it has become necessary to rethink and redefine gender roles? And what changes in everyday attitudes can help everyone feel more valued and equal?
Well, let me thank the organizer of this program for putting up this very interesting program that will educate our women, most especially, they are the managers at home, the people who takes care of both the father and the children. In fact, my saw them in such a way that interpreter ò tiẹ̀ ní ríṣẹ́ púpọ̀ ṣe. Màá bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ní Yorùbá àti ní òyìnbó. Ṣé rí nǹkan tá à ń pè ní gender imbalance or gender role yẹn? Tẹ́ bá rántí ìgbà tá a wà nínú ọgbà Édẹ́nì, nígbà tí Ọlọ́run dá Ádámù, nígbà tó fẹ́ dá Éfà, kí ló pè é? Ó ní olùrànlọ́wọ́. Tó bá ní èèyàn jẹ́ olùrànlọ́wọ́ kì í ṣe ẹrú. Olùrànlọ́wọ́ kì í ṣe kí ni? Kò ń ṣe ẹrú. He is just a peer assistant. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ wo ipa tí Éfà kó, ẹ rí wípé bó ṣe dé, ṣe ló take charge. Àbí? Òun ló sọ nǹkan tí Ádámù tiẹ̀ máa wá ṣe fún. Ìjẹ́ yẹn ti change láti ìgbà yẹn lọ. Tá a bá ń tanra wa la máa sọ pé ọkùnrin òun ló nílé. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wò from the position of chief executive and managing director. The chief executive will provide fund, but who manages the company? The managing director. While the men, the husband, are the chief executives, the women are what? The managing director. Managing director ló máa sọ pé ẹ fi síbẹ̀ yẹn, báyìí ló ṣe yẹ kó rí, báyìí ló ṣe yẹ kó wà. Ṣé rí gbogbo nǹkan tí à ń pè ní gender imbalance yẹn, ọkàn wa ló wà. Nítorí pé àwa obìnrin fúnra wa ti gbà wípé ibi tí wọ́n fi wá sí nìyẹn. Whereas tẹ́ ẹ bá wo ìgbà ìpilẹ̀ṣe, ẹ rí àwọn obìnrin kan tó jẹ́ wípé they played active role in nation building. Moremi Ajansoro controlled men. Is that not so? Queen Amina in Zaria controlled men. In fact, she had a military camp. Ó ní àwọn sójà tó jagun láti jàjàgbara oríṣiríṣi báyẹn. tẹ́ bá wo Fúnmiláyọ̀ Ransom Kuti, tẹ́ bá wo àwọn roles táwọn èèyàn yẹn play, ẹ rí pé kì í ṣe role tó wà fún obìnrin, role tó wà fún èèyàn àtọkùnrin àtobìnrin ni. So that gender role tá a sọ yẹn ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti pé bàbá ló máa fowó sílẹ̀, màmá ló máa tọ́jú ilé, ibi tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn o. Ṣùgbọ́n sìn ṣé gbogbo ìgbà ló jẹ́ bàbá ló ń fowó sílẹ̀? Màmá kan ti wá bí olóhùn single parent. Kí là ń pè ní single parent? Ẹni tó yẹ pé òun ló ń dá gbé, ló ń dá fà á. Tá a bá wo population wa ní Nàìjíríà lénìí, single parents yẹn mà ló pọ̀ jù. Àwọn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ni wọ́n máa mọ bí ọmọ wọn ṣe máa lọ sí iléèwé, bó ṣe fẹ́ jẹun, in fact bọ́kọ pàápàá ṣe fẹ́ jẹun. So nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ ṣàlàyé fún wa is that we women should not accept that there is special role for men and there is special role for women. In the police force, in the police force, they don't call the women police women. They call them what? Policemen. In the military, they also, I don't think they have that gender discrimination. But let us look at, even in our social context, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa wo bíbá yìí ni o, tó bá ní obìnrin ò ń mòrò, obìnrin ò ń dégbòrò, oúnjẹ tó rò máa jẹ nígbó ta ló sè é. Ìyẹn fi hàn wá pé ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ló ń jẹ́ nǹkan tá a torí ẹ̀ wá síbí. Àtọkùnrin àtobìnrin a gbọ́dọ̀ fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ láti tọ́ ọmọ wa, láti jẹ́ kí orílẹ̀-èdè dára. Lénìí, we have so many women that are playing very active role in politics. Ìkan ló jókòó síbi ọ̀dọ̀ wa ń bí báyìí, Deputy Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly. Ipò yẹn tá a bá wò ó nípò òṣèlú, àwa obìnrin fúnra wa gbà pé àwọn ọkùnrin ló gbọ́dọ̀ wà nípò kan. Kò sí ipò tóbìnrin ò lè sí, ṣùgbọ́n àwa fúnra wa máa sọ pé ọkùnrin ni kó lọ ṣe o. Tóbìnrin pàápàá bá fẹ́ gbégbá ìbò yẹn, àti ẹ̀ ní dìbò fún. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, whereas ẹ̀yin lẹ́pọ̀, ẹ máa ń kọrin ẹni obìnrin dé ìbò yapa. Ìbò tó yapa yẹn kí ló dé tẹ́ ẹ̀ dì fún àwọn obìnrin ẹgbẹ́ yín?
That's right.
That's
right.
Recently, somebody said something which I really, ó ní tí ọkùnrin bá ń wá owó, tó bá rí owó, ta ló máa kó fún? Obìnrin. Ṣùgbọ́n tọ́gbìnrin bá rí owó, tó bá ń wá owó, tó bá rí owó, kí ló máa fi ṣe? Ó máa kó wá sílé ni. Ó máa fọ́kọ ẹ̀ jẹ, ó máa fún ọmọ ẹ̀ jẹ. Therefore, ta ló yẹ kó lówó? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. A resounding round of applause. I believe we now see why Chief Dapo Oke had to be here today. Thank you very much, sir. All right, so my next question is for Dr. Jesusina. Thank you so much for joining us. So here's my question. When Dr. Jesusina is not just a medical doctor, for those of you who know him, he's also a pastor. Please let they all be quiet. Thank you. He's also a pastor. And I know that he does a lot of marriage and family counseling. I even saw something on his status yesterday where he was inviting us to come with our spouses for a retreat. So you better go for that retreat. So I'd like Doctor, of course we'll talk from the medical perspective, but I want us to talk about family first. So Doctor, there's this perception, just like Chief was saying, he was talking about the helper. And I'd like to think that, in fact, when I say that someone is my helper, for example, we sing to God and we say, my helper. Oh. So when I even think about my helper, I'm not thinking about someone who's subservient. I'm thinking about someone who's higher than me. Maybe not higher, but someone who's really, really able to add benefit to me as against someone who's subservient. You know, we've also, one of the major terminologies that we have had to grapple with in this fight for women's rights and for gender equality has been the term submission. But also we have seen that there's a very thin line between submission and control. In fact, we have seen that in some family dynamics, the men say, oh, I'm the head of the house, and that's all right. But that headship is almost ownership in many places. So can you help us draw the lines between submission and control, headship and ownership? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I really want to thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Now, when we talk about being helpmates, and many a times, I normally ask people, who is stronger between a man and a woman? And when you talk about somebody helping you, you are talking about somebody who is stronger. That's the person you will go and meet that he should help you.
That's right.
And and even if you look at the issue of the word of God, you will discover that Samson happens to be the strongest man that ever lived, that killed 1,000 men. Ọkùnrin kan wà tá à ń pè ní Samsoni. Ó pa ọkùnrin 1000 lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà. Ẹ gbọ́ mi, obìnrin mélòó ló pa? Obìnrin kan. Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn yé wa dáadáa? À ń sọ ẹni tó lágbára jù. So láàrin ọkùnrin àti obìnrin, ta ló lágbára jù? Obìnrin. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì rèé, Jésù tó jẹ́ ọmọ Ọlọ́run, ó débì kan, wọ́n ní pé wáìnì ti tán, ìyá ẹ̀ wá bá. Ó ní ẹ má wá bá mi. Ó ní àkókò mi kò tí ì tó. Ẹni tó lákòókò òun ò tí ì tó, ta ló jẹ́ kó wá ṣiṣẹ́ ìyanu alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tó kọ́kọ́ ṣe? Obìnrin ni, agbára obìnrin nìyẹn o. Ṣe rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa àmọ́ agbára tọ́lọ́run ṣe kí nìyẹn o tó fún wa. Ìtorí ẹ̀ náà ló fi dàbí ẹni wípé a lò bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe kí nìyẹn o, bó ṣe yẹ ká lò. Wọ́n máa ń sọ wípé ọkùnrin lórí, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, obìnrin ni ọrùn. A ti wá gbàgbé pé ibi tí ọrùn bá yí orí sí ló máa yí sí. Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn yé wa dáadáa? Kò dẹ̀ yẹ ká gbàgbé yẹn. Ṣé rí ní nǹkan táwọn òbí wa ṣe láyé àtijọ́ ló ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ láti yí àwọn ọkọ wọn síbi tí ó bá wù wọ́n? Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn yé wa dáadáa? Mo wo ìtàn bàbá tá à ń pè ní bàbá Adébóyè. Ó fẹ́ lọ léèwé, kò sí owó láti lọ léèwé, kò dẹ̀ sí bó ṣe lè. Ìyá ẹ̀ wá bá ọkọ ẹ̀. Ó ní oríkì tó máa ń kì í, tó bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń kì í, bàbá ẹ̀ wà ní àwọn tó tálákà jùlọ níbẹ̀ yẹn o, bọ̀ tó bá ti ń kì í ní àwọn oríkì yẹn, ṣe rí oríkì yẹn wọnú orí bàbá yẹn títí tó yẹ pé ó lọ gbé nǹkan tó ní jù lọ, ó lọ ṣe kí nìyẹn o, ó lọ tà á. Lára agbára tí Ọlọ́run fún àwa obìnrin tá a kì í lò, òun ni agbára ọ̀rọ̀. Tá a bá mọ bí a ṣe lè ṣe rí àwọn ọkùnrin yìí, ọkùnrin tó fún ẹ ní 40 yìí náà ló máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ àlè ẹ̀ tó máa kó gbogbo owó tó máa ṣe kí nìyẹn o, tó máa kó fún. Kí ni àlè sọ tí wọ́n ò ṣe kí nìyẹn o, tó ò lè sọ? A dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ bá a ṣe ń fi ọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn àgbàlagbà sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ ló ń mú obì jáde, ọ̀rọ̀ náà ló dẹ̀ tún mú idà tàbí ọfà jáde. Àwa obìnrin gbọ́dọ̀ mọ bí a ṣe ń ṣe kí nìyẹn o, bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀. Mo ti ní àwọn èèyàn tó máa sọ fún mi pé ọkọ òun náà òun, màá dẹ̀ wá béèrè pé kí ló sọ. Ṣé rí tán bá máa sọ nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ tán, màá rò pé nínà nìkan kọ́ ló yẹ kí wọ́n nà. Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn yé wa dáadáa? Ṣé rí tá a bá tí ì kọ́ bá a ṣe máa mọ ọ̀rọ̀ sọ, a ní lè mọ bá a ṣe máa lè mú àwọn ọkọ wa bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe kí nìyẹn o, bó ṣe yẹ ká mú wọn. So èmi fẹ́ rọ̀ wá, lóòótọ́ wọ́n ní pé ká tẹríba fún wọn, lóòótọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni, but ó ní bí a ṣe lè tẹríba fún wọn pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ gidi tí a máa rí pé àwa gangan ló máa dàbí ẹni pé a jẹ́ orí nínú ilé yẹn, àwọn yẹn wọ́n kàn jẹ́ figure head ni. Ṣùgbọ́n áńgù kan tí mo tún fẹ́ ká tún wò ó, nítorí pé àwa àyà la pọ̀ níbí. Ṣé ẹni tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa, mi ò fẹ́ pè ní ẹlẹ́yàmẹ̀yà láàrin ọkùnrin àti obìnrin, àwa fúnra wa la máa ń fà á. Àwa náwọn ọmọkùnrin tá à ní jẹ́ kí wọ́n fọ abọ́, tá à ní jẹ́ kí wọ́n ṣoúnjẹ. Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn yé wa dáadáa o? Àwa là ń sọ wípé wá fílẹ̀ iṣẹ́ obìnrin ni. Lára nǹkan kéèké, so ọmọkùnrin yẹn ti fíìlì wípé tóun bá ti jẹun tán o, àbúrò òun obìnrin tàbí ẹ̀gbọ́n òun obìnrin ni kó wá ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kó wá fàbọ́. Ṣé Yorùbá yé wa dáadáa? So èmi náà fíì pé onú mi ti ẹ̀dùn páwọ̀ obìnrin la pọ̀ níbí. Àwa míì dẹ̀ wà tá ti jẹ́ ìyá ọkọ. Tá a bá lọ sí ilé àwọn ọkọ wa, kí la máa lọ ń ṣe ń bẹ̀? A ní sọ̀pọ́ọ̀tì ìyàwó, ta la lọ́rùn sọ̀pọ́ọ̀tì ọkọ wa tó jẹ́ ọmọ wa. A máa wá ń lo ọmọ wa láti fìyà jẹ ìyàwó. Kò dẹ̀ yẹ kó ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn kan wà níbí tí wọ́n ti mọ̀, mo lábúrò kan tó ti ṣaláìsí. Àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà tí mo gbọ́ tí mo rò wípé kò yẹ kí obìnrin fúnra ara, tá a bá sọ̀rọ̀ pé èèyàn ti di opó, àwọn gangan tó ń fìyà jẹ opó wọn kì í ṣe ọkùnrin o. Àwọn gangan tó ń fìyà jẹ opó ni àwọn àbúrò ọkùnrin, àbúrò ọkọ àti ẹ̀gbọ́n ọkọ tán jẹ́ obìnrin ni o. So èmi fẹ́ sọ wípé ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gbà wá gangan ni ọ̀tá ara wa. So a nílò, then ẹ̀kọ́ wo là ń kọ́ àwọn ọmọ kékeré tó ṣẹ̀ wọlé ọkọ? Àwa míì àwọn nǹkan táwa ò kì í gbà nílé wa là ń kọ́ wọn. Ọkọ mi ò lè ṣerú ẹ̀ fún mi, tó bá ṣe rí ẹ̀ ṣe ni màá yí omi ata. Kì í dẹ̀ ń ṣe bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe kí nìyẹn o, bó ṣe ń ṣe nílé ẹ̀ nìyẹn. So èmi fẹ́ rọ̀ wá wípé tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa wípé ẹnìkan jẹ́ orí, ẹnìkan jẹ́ ọrùn, àwa gangan la ní agbára. Ibi tá a bá yí ọkọ wa sí, lọ́kọ wa máa ṣe kí nìyẹn o, lọ́ máa yí. I will round up with another woman, Reverend Funke Adéjùmọ̀. Ó ní orin kan wà, ó láwọn orin lọ́wọ́. Tó bá fẹ́ lọ sọ́jà, ó lórin tó gbọ́dọ̀ kọ tí gbogbo owó tọkọ ẹ̀ ní máa fi ṣe kí nìyẹn o, tó fi máa jáde. Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn yé wa dáadáa? Tó bá fẹ́ raṣọ, aṣọ ẹgbẹ́, ó ní orin tó gbọ́dọ̀ kọ. Tó bá ti ń kọ orin yẹn, ṣe rí ọkùnrin, tá a bá mọ bá a ṣe lè pọ́n wọn lé dáadáa, kò sí nǹkan tó wà lọ́wọ́ wọn tán ní ṣe kí nìyẹn o, tán ní jùlẹ̀. Bí nǹkan tí dáàdi sọ, gbogbo owó tọkùnrin bá lọ gbà ń ta, orí obìnrin ló máa ná sí. Bóyá ìyàwó ẹ̀ ni o, bó jẹ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ ni o, tàbí àlè, orí ta ló fẹ́ ná sí o, orí obìnrin. So káwa náà ní ọ̀rọ̀ rere lẹ́nu. Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So, my next question, I have a rider to Doctor's answers, but I think I will wait till the next round. Okay, so my next question is going to Prof. Prof, we all know that in this fight for women's rights, gender equality, and all that, there's a lot of progress that has been made. In the past, you will not even find these kind of programs. Women will not dare to bring themselves together and be asking these questions, you know. So, indeed, a lot of progress has been made. There are many women now come up and say, oh, I'm a feminist. Say, oh, rights should be honored. Stand up. But there's a lot of resistance. The resistance is strong. And so what factors do you think drive this resistance? What's the reason for this resistance? Why would someone say to me, like I said yesterday, women have no rights, people should go and sit down, you know, that kind of thing. What factors drive these thoughts? And how can we address these challenges as well?
Yeah. I want to say that this is driven by the old school belief that power should not be shared between man and woman. There's another belief that women or girl child should not be sent to school because of the belief that women education ends in a kitchen. You know, there are many things that we believe that we have the belief that women cannot do. And this has been in our head. And because of this, many people just, they have that fear that should we actually allow women to participate in certain things that from timeless immemorial, from the days of our fathers, that they have not been doing, should we allow them, possibly because of the fear that they may take over and do what men originally do? One thing is that this can be corrected by calling people, especially men, those who don't want to recognize women. We call them to the table. You know, the Bible says, come, let us reason together. All we need to do is to call them to the table, let them come and tell us their fears and concerns.
That's true.
What is it that they fear? What is it that they don't, they're actually afraid of? That is not, that is making them to allow women to play the roles that has been originally assigned to them by God Almighty. As we have heard, you pay oluranlowo ni wọ́n jẹ́, àbí? They are not slaves. But what we, not all men anyway, because I'm able to say that, especially those of us on the stage here, we actually support women, because women are our mothers, they are our wives, they are our children. Women are everything to us. So if we call these people, tell them what actually is your concern, what is your fear, then at the same time, we should also invest in those programs that will encourage equality, that will make women to move forward. Like our women need what we call a women education, they need sponsorship, they need mentorship. If we can have all this, it is possible. Like a vocational training to make women independent. These are some of the things that we can do to ensure that we allay the fears of men or human beings who are afraid of women. The question is, why are some people afraid of women? I think the answer rests with everybody here present. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Please let's put our hands together for Prof. So, as an allusion to what Prof said, while we were planning this program, the team and I, we went to meet a particular man. And you know, when he was now saying, the program is good, but that's okay, let me say it in Yoruba so that everyone will understand. So, our ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá a ṣáà lọ ibì kan a lọ sọ̀rọ̀ program yìí fún wọn bẹ ọkùnrin ní ẹni yẹn wọ́n wá sọ pé ètò yẹn dá o pé ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ bá ṣáà ti débẹ̀ ẹ mọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ máa sọ o torí pé tóbìnrin mi bá débẹ̀ délé lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn báyìí gbogbo ilé wọn fẹ́ máa gbóná ó fẹ́ máa mìtìtì ní. And you know, just like Prof said, I just answered the man. I said, Kí ló ń bà ọ́ lẹ́rù kò wí. You know, I said, what are you afraid of? Why do you feel the need to admonish us, to guide us, to control the things that we are going to discuss at our event? So thank you very much for that answer, Prof. All right, so I'm going straight to Chief Dapo Oke. Just the title of this panel is about transforming traditions. And so the writer that I was talking about to the things that Doctor said, over a very long time, it was very necessary for us to manage women to manage the dynamics between men and women. And so, for example, very recently I was at a conference where we were having discussions like this, and a man stood up. We had a very beautiful conversation, an enlightening, powerful conversation. And then there was a man in the audience who came up and said that, well, everything that we have said is good. The only thing is that we should train our daughters how they will be talking to their husbands. If not, they will be beating them. But it was not a good day for that man, because, we said, what kind of gaslighting is this? It is you that has beaten somebody. Then the person you beat is the one we have to tell that she has to learn how to talk. Who will teach you how to control your own anger and all of that? And so, is there a way? We have done this for a very long time. We have been successful. We have recorded some progress, but it has not been successful. So are there other measures that we can take? As against, we are managing women, we are trying to help women to persuade men, to satisfy men. You just have to know what to do. Now, that's in one context, marriage. The other context is even for men who are not your husband. For men who don't necessarily know you, you're at work. For example, we are in a board meeting. All of us are directors. But it is the female director that will go and carry cup and serve all the male directors. Even if she's the chair of the board. And so, these things that we have done, how can we re-engineer these traditions? Because when we talk about women's rights, we are equal. Everyone is equal. Even if you are not going to be equal to anybody, perhaps your husband, because of the religious views. But how do we now manage it so that every time we don't tell women that, behave well, do this. Everyone should behave well. I'm not going to talk badly. You should not behave badly as well. Thank you very much, sir.
Let me first say this, that the principle of human rights recognizes the fact that women's rights, that is, the rights of women, is also human rights.
That's right. Women's rights are human rights.
Yes. So there's no specific rights for men aside the one for women. Therefore, you now begin to say, what are those rights? Number one is the right to live. You have right to do what? To live. And to live free of violence. You also have rights to political participation. You also have rights to be free from slavery. Ìkọ́ tí mò ń sọ ni pé ẹ̀tọ́ kan náà tó wà fọ́kùnrin lábẹ́ òfin ló wà fún obìnrin. Kì í ṣe wípé ẹ̀tọ́ ọkùnrin yàtọ̀ sí ti obìnrin. Àwa ni àkọ́kọ́ sọ́kàn wa tá a believe pé we can only see women, they are not to be heard. Ta ló pè obìnrin sọ̀rọ̀?
Yes.
Yeah, a máa ń sọ àbá kì í sọ.
A máa ń sọ.
Obìnrin ni ẹ má pè sí o. Èwo náà ló dífá pé ọmọkùnrin ni kẹ́ rán lọ síléèwé, kẹ́ má rán ọmọbìnrin lọ síléèwé. Ẹ lọ wò ó, obìnrin láàánú ju ọmọkùnrin lọ. Tó o bá bí ọmọ obìnrin, o ti gain another son. Tó o bá bí ọmọ ọkùnrin, ó likely kí ìyàwó yẹn kó gain ọmọ ọkùnrin yẹn sí side ọkọ ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n tó o bá bímọ obìnrin, tí ìyàwó tọmọ yẹn dẹ̀ mọ tó ní ìwà tó kọ́ dáadáa, ọkọ ọmọ ẹ yẹn, in fact, á ṣe fún ẹ ju ọmọ ẹ gan fúnra ẹ lọ. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Wọ́n ti sọ fún alẹ́ kan, dókítà sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni. Wọ́n máa ń kọrin kan nígbà táwa wà kékeré, wọ́n ní irú wọn kì í jẹun ọkọ, irú wọn kì í jẹun ọkọ, ó kù dẹ̀dẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ ó ràrán ó gbọ́kọ̀ létí irú wọn kì í jẹun ọkọ. You know the meaning of that song? As the husband was planning to do something for you, but you just came up with your attitude. And that one alone will make that man to withdraw. Sherry, to manage a home, it takes the special grace of God. Láti tọ́ ọmọ, láti gbọ́ bùkátà ọkọ àtọmọ, because ìyàwó baby náà ń pè wá, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, wọ́n ní lójú yín arúgbó ní dádì, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, baby là wà ń pè wọ́n. Baby ní gbogbo wa lọ́dọ̀ ìyàwó torí òun ló máa fún wa lóúnjẹ. Omi ta fẹ́ fi wẹ̀ pàápàá, omi ìwẹ̀ yín ti wà níbẹ̀ o, as if you cannot. But àwọn nǹkan kan wà láyé àtijọ́ tí ó jẹ́ wípé nǹkan yẹn kò possible mọ́ láyé ìsìn. Number one, àwọn bàbá wa tó fẹ́yàwó púpọ̀ láyé àtijọ́, iṣẹ́ wo náà ń ṣe? Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ń wá àwọn tó máa tẹ̀lé wọn lọ sóko láti bá wọn roko. Ẹjọ́ ṣé yẹn ṣì wá ń sìn? So, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìbéèrè tí wọ́n béèrè, how do we manage a situation to the extent that it will not amount to what? To amount to enslaving one gender.
Yes.
You know, to please the other.
Yeah, and then continue to create unequal power dynamics.
Sincerely speaking, tẹ́ ẹ bá wò sharing management tá à ń sọ yẹn, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí responsibility at home. When as a father, you come around and you do your rights. Àwọn máa sọ fún yín pé, let me give you a personal example. Ọjọ́ kan, mo give instruction pé please, ẹ̀yọ́ báyìí gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe o, gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe o, ẹ̀ lọ́n tèmi. When I came back, I was expecting that mo sọ yẹn na máa ṣe. Ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan tí ìyá wọn sọ pé wọ́n ṣe, òun ló wọ́n ṣe. And when I said, kí ló dé kẹ́sì lọ báyìí? My daughter said, Daddy, come. You know, she's the one that does it. If you don't do have it, we will be done. You know, there. I now understand the fact that I have to manage my wife and also manage my children. I should not give conflicting, directive that will put me, in conflict with my wife or put my children in conflict with me. That is one aspect. Another one is the fact that ẹ ó ti sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé àwa náà láti pín iṣẹ́ yẹn. Ọkùnrin kò ń ṣoúnjẹ, òun ló dífá gbàtẹ́mi yìí jẹ́mọ̀. My wife stays in Abeokuta, I work in Ìjẹ̀bú. Doctor ní ẹ má jẹ léyìí, ẹ má jẹ tọ̀hún, ẹ má ṣe gbá. Ẹ rí i pé gbogbo nǹkan tó ní ká má jẹ yẹn tó bá ń lọ sí eatery, òun ló máa fún ẹ jẹ. It's like you are eating poison. Èmi náà bá ṣe pé èmi náà máa ṣe oúnjẹ lọ́jọ́ kan. Kò wá sí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sè, mo bá lọ kó indomie. Gbàtí mo gbé indomie, mo gbé kaná, mo wá rò pé gbogbo nǹkan tó ń bá ṣàn ṣe wọ́n máa ń fi iyọ̀ sí, mo bá fi iyọ̀ sí indomie. Iyọ̀ tí mo fi sí indomie yẹn, indomie ò ṣe é jẹ. In fact, gbàtí mo dànù ajá tí mo gbé fún owó mi báyìí, orí ẹ̀ ò pé ọmọ yìí. Who cooked this food? I want to tell you, when we were young, my mother would tell you pé má dé report to me, mi ò fẹ́ kọ́kùnrin dé report to me. And so àwọn obìnrin yẹn, àwọn ni wọ́n máa ṣe oúnjẹ, àwọn máa jókòó. But now everything has changed. Òun ni mo sọ pé dynamics yẹn ó ti change. Many things that we were doing in the past ó ti yàtọ̀ sí. So right now, let us teach our boys how to do certain house chores, so that tó bá yá kò ní believe pé ìyàwó òun ló gbọ́dọ̀. And now I cook food, I cook soup
Dapsin. Chief has a Dapsin catering.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you know that?
Yes, I do.
So I now cook. But the fact remains that I learned it on myself. I did not learn it from home. But one day, my son came to my house in Jebu, and when he came back, he told mommy that, Daddy malo ṣe báyìí. Mommy hey, Daddy ẹ tí ò lè gbómi kaná. So nílé òun believe pé mi ò lè gbómi kaná. Ṣùgbọ́n èmi fúnra mi nígbà tí mo mọ̀ pé owó tí màá ná ń gbòòrò àti nǹkan tí màá jẹ kò ní satisfy me. So there is no special role for a particular gender. Special role tó kàn wà òun ní pé obìnrin ló máa bímọ. Àbí? Ìyẹn nìkan lọkùnrin ò lè ṣe. Ṣùgbọ́n pé wọ́n ń tọ́jú ọmọ. There was a day my wife traveled and I wanted to please my children. Mo fẹ́ travel. Mo wá fẹ́ fi hàn àwọn ọmọ yẹn pé mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ wọn ju ìyá wọn lọ. And I want them to know that I love them more than their mother. Mo gbé wọn lọ sí Italy, a jẹun. Àgbà sí gbogbo ẹ̀ gbà tó dalẹ̀. Ìtó kéré jù bó ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ my mommy. Mo rò pé pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tí mo ṣe fún ọmọ yìí. Mo ra meat pie, mo ra ice cream. Gbogbo àti mo ń ra yẹn, ó ń jó, ó ń tẹ̀lé mi. But nígbà tó dalẹ̀, ó believe pé there is something missing. Ìyẹn dùn yín, gbà tó dàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì, mo bá múra school fún wọn. Ó yá pẹ̀pẹ̀. Gbà tó ti múra pé kí n kó wọn sí mọ́tò wọn ní, I want to poo-poo. Ha! Whereas, obìnrin ti mọ ìgbà tó máa jí ọmọ yẹn. Ó mọ ìgbà tó máa jí tọ̀. Ó mọ ìgbà tó máa sọ fún pé go and poo-poo. Ó mọ ìgbà tó máa sọ pé oúnjẹ rèé. Gbogbo yẹn làwọn ti mọ̀ as. And so kí ló stop àwọn ọkùnrin to be part of that so that when your wife travel, it will not be difficult for you. Nígbà tó wá yá, mo bá tún gbé àwọn ọmọ mo gbé wọn lọ fún ilé girlfriend mi kan, mo ní kó yẹn máa bá mi fún wọn lóúnjẹ. Nígbà tó padà dé, ọmọ mi obìnrin yẹn wá bá mi pé, Daddy, should I tell my mommy that Auntie Lagbaja cooks for us? No, you should not. Don't tell her. Okay. Nígbà tó tún di alẹ́ ní, can I tell her now? Because ó ti sú èmi ńlé, mo wá rò pé ta lóbìnrin tó tún lè bá mi. So you see, no matter how you pamper those children, nobody can play the role of their mother. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè play a role ìyá wọn. And to now capital in conclusion, one day I just asked them, nínú èmi àti mọ́mí ìtàlẹ̀ like you. I love my daddy. Wọ́n ní that's fine. Mọ́mí wọn yín mú sí mi pé máa tán rẹ̀. Mọ́mí wọn ní, so you don't like me? I like my mommy. Ṣé ẹ máa kó ti balance ẹ̀? Wọ́n ní, okay, so you love your mommy and you love your daddy. Which one do you like best? One of them said, Mommy, let us tell daddy that we love daddy. You know he will soon go out. So please, the long and short of it is that don't ever think that certain roles should be left for women. And in most cases, eléyìí tó wà most dignifying làwọn ọkùnrin máa ń mú. Ètò wà servant, òun la máa reserve fún obìnrin. But ìwọ tó bá fẹ́ tẹ́, ìwọ má tọ́jú ìyàwó ẹ̀ kó wá lọ gba meeting ẹgbẹ́, wọ́n á fi ata ba ọbẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief. That was a very interesting one. Okay. And so, I think just as an allusion to what Chief said, there's something that I have observed recently. Where you will see grown men, just addition to what Chief said, who will be lamenting about how their wives have gone to Canada, how their wives have gone to America for Mugo, and now who will cook for me? Who will wash my clothes? When I'm like, you are a full-grown human being. You are not well, he said they are babies, but you are not a baby. You should be able to take care of yourself. And so when we raise our boys, we are raising them as invalids. Like someone who always needs care, who always needs a caregiver. Like, you can't manage your own nutrition, you can't manage your own personal hygiene. And I really think that we should do better, both as fathers and as mothers. Thank you very much, Chief. Now, my next question is going to Doctor, and we are going straight into healthcare. When Chief was speaking, he said that, the only role that is exclusive to women is childbearing. And so I would like to talk about childbearing. I think I would also interpret this question in Yoruba so that I can carry the audience along at once. There's an emerging area of gender-based violence known as obstetric violence. And I think that if I take the numbers, 95% of the women in this room would have gone through it, where women are punished or violated for going through the reproductive process. So you're pregnant, so you are in the process of giving birth. Your handlers, the healthcare providers, are treating you without dignity because you are in that process. So you will hear things like, walk fast now. You open your leg. The way you open your leg when they were putting it inside is how you should open it now that it's coming out. A woman who's in labor, it's just, all sorts of things are said to them in that process. And so what can we do as healthcare practitioners to better this situation? And as service receivers as well, the people who receive healthcare, how can we insist that we have the right to dignity of human person and we should be treated as such? So I think maybe should I ask again in Yoruba, or you answer, you help me interpret?
Màá bá yín sọ Yorùbá.
Ẹ ṣé sà.
Wọ́n sọ nípa nǹkan tí àwọn obìnrin máa ń là kọjá tán bá fẹ́ bí ọmọ. Pàápàá jùlọ bó ṣe bí àwọn tá a lè pè ní nọ́ọ̀sì àti dókítà máa ń ṣe sí wọn. Wípé ó yá làdí ẹ̀ dáadáa, ṣé nǹkan tó wọbẹ̀ ló fẹ́ jáde ni, kán bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń lù wọ́n, kán bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa ṣe. Ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan ìbéèrè tó yẹ kí n béèrè, ṣé rí ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbà bí nǹkan tí mo ṣe sọ tẹ́lẹ̀, obìnrin lọ ta ara wọn o. Àwọn tó ń gbẹ ẹ̀bí jù, ta ni wọ́n? Mo máa ń ṣẹ́rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn obìnrin ló máa bá mi pé ṣé mo máa wà láráùnd nígbà táwọn bá fẹ́ ṣe kí nìyẹn o, wọ́n fẹ́ bímọ. Ìdí ẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé ó ní bọ́kùnrin ṣe máa ṣe sí obìnrin tán bá fẹ́ gbẹ̀bí wọn. But ẹ̀yin obìnrin àwọn tó tẹ̀ ń ṣe jù lọ làwọn tẹ́pẹ́ àwọn náà ti bímọ rí fúnra wọn. Wọ́n á wá òpin kí ló wà ń bẹ̀. So nǹkan tó ṣe pàtàkì ni wípé gbogbo ibi táwa náà bá wà gẹ́gẹ́ bí obìnrin, ẹ jẹ́ á rí i pé à ń ṣàánú ara wa. Then ká dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé ara ò rí bákan náà. Àwọn kan wà tán bá fẹ́ rọbí, tán bá sọ fún yín pé ọmọ ti fẹ́ dé, kẹ́ mọ̀ wípé ọmọ ti fẹ́ ṣe kí nìyẹn o, ó ti fẹ́ dé. Àwọn míì dẹ̀ wà, á sì gbà wọ́n ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wákàtí kí wọ́n tó rọbí. Then èmi tún wá rò pé ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbà bí àwa aláwọ̀ dúdú bá a ṣe máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ wa, ó dàbí kẹ́ bá wo àwọn oògùn, àwọn àgbo tí àwọn aláwọ̀ dúdú máa ń fún wa, àwọn ògbó tó máa ń ṣe kí nìyẹn o, tó máa ń korò ni. Àgbo òyìnbó tá à ń pè ní syrup lẹ́lẹ̀ rí kó ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kó dùn. A gbàgbọ́ wípé o gbọ́dọ̀ la, wọ́n á ní ìyà ò jẹ́ olóògbọ́n, ta ni tíṣà ẹ̀. A gbàgbọ́ pé o gbọ́dọ̀ la wàhálà kọjá kó tó débi tó yẹ kó o dé, which are not always true. So I'm of the opinion that as women, anywhere you find yourself, treat people with empathy. Kó o fi wọ́n wé ara ẹ̀. Tọ́n bá dẹ̀ ṣe bí o ṣe rò pé ó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, tún ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ nítorí pé o mọ nǹkan tí wọ́n ń là kọjá. Èmi rò pé lára nǹkan tá a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe ni. Ó dẹ̀ wá tún burú títí ẹ pé for example bọ́n ṣe sọ, mò ń pastor church tó jẹ́ pé àwọn obìnrin fẹ́ bá ọkùnrin sọ ẹ̀dùn ọkàn wọn ju àwọn obìnrin ẹgbẹ́ wọn lọ. A ní àwọn aládarí obìnrin, a ní àwọn, but wọ́n fi pé àwọn ọkùnrin máa mọ nǹkan tí wọ́n là kọjá. Àìjẹ́bẹ̀ tán bá bóbìnrin tí a ní ẹ̀wò lọ máa ran bẹ́ẹ̀mi náà ṣe ń ran tèmi nìyẹn. So kò yẹ kí ó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. kò yẹ kí ó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bọ́n bá tiẹ̀ wá bá wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká wa náà, we are here to learn. Lára nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ fi yé wa ni pé a ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ tá a sì gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa àtọmọkùnrin o àtọmọbìnrin o, so that wọ́n á lè di ẹni tó yẹ kí wọ́n dì. So gbogbo ibi tá a bá ti bára wa, bó jẹ́ ti ìlera ni o, a gbọ́dọ̀ rí i pé à ń fi ọmọlúwàbí kún ìwà wa.
Thank you, doctor.
I think that will go a long way to help us. So gbogbo this obstetric violence that you, bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ìdí bí ọmọ náà lásán ni, ó ní bó ṣe lè bá a ṣe lè bára wa sọ tí àwọn èèyàn yẹn máa fi mọ̀ wípé wọ́n tún lè bá wa sọ nǹkan tó wà nínú ọkàn wọn. So my counsel is that fún àwa obìnrin, ẹ jẹ́ ká ran ara wa náà lọ́wọ́. Tá a bá ran ara wa lọ́wọ́, àwa ọkùnrin kọ́ la máa ràn yín lọ́wọ́. Òótọ́ nìyẹn. Àwa fúnra ara wa la gbọ́dọ̀ ran ara wa lọ́wọ́. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ ran gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́.
Thank you, doctor. So I want us to take a poll in this room because mo fẹ́ ká ran ara wa lọ́wọ́. How many people went through that kind of thing? When you were in that reproductive process, you went through some form of indignity. Ìgbà tá a fẹ́ bí èèyàn mélòó nínú yàrá yìí ló jẹ́ pé ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé a fẹ́ bímọ, wọ́n fi ìwà ẹ̀gbin, wọ́n fi yí wa lára. Just by a show of hand, I did. It's looking as if I'm lying, no, because now we are not raising our hands, so it looks as if what I'm saying is not true. Because if like just 10 people are raising their hands, it means that it's not a real issue. Okay, that means it's not a real issue then. Why are you? These are the things. I'm saying it's not a real issue. Just say, it's a real issue. Oh. Let your voice be heard as a woman. If you raise your hand, nothing will happen to it. It actually is a real issue. So I'll share 2 personal examples. I kept insisting on my rights. Even if I was in labor, I kept insisting on my rights, and they were tired of me. In fact, the morning when I was in active labor, the woman said, so you can be humble like this. I looked at her, and then, because things were happening, like, okay, you are dilating. Somebody would just put hand and say, you should have told me what you don't just come and put hand. You should explain to me what you want to do. So they kept being offended at all those things that I was saying. And I remember that in the final, when I was eventually going to push out, because I'm a very touchy person, so I just kept feeling like if I somebody, I will be able to push the baby out. That's all I kept feeling like. If I just hug somebody in this one, I kept begging the woman that, can I? She said, no. So there was a pole by the bed, and I held that pole. It was not like a human being. The thing was hard. So I then begged the attendant. I begged her very humbly, because I was then indeed humble. I was right where she wanted me to be humble. And I said, please, ma, can I hug you, please? And she came. As I held her, I gave birth. So just like this panel is rethinking tradition, redefining tradition, nothing, like doctor said, says that everything has to be hard. If somebody wants soft life, let them have it. You will not die by letting them have the soft life. Thank you very much, doctor. Okay, I think, do we need to still interpret? No, okay. Thank you very much. Now we're going into final rounds because of our time. So now we'll take the final rounds. You a question, and at the same time, you will share final thoughts. What words do you want to leave us with this? So my next question is for Prof. What is the relationship between human rights, crime, and punishment in addressing sexual and gender-based violence? I'm asking this question because a lot of times when we say to survivors of sexual and gender-based violence that there was something they did wrong that made them go through that treatment. So for example, your husband beats you, we say, oh, it's because your mouth is sharp. You get raped, we say, oh, it's because you went out at night. We say, what were you wearing? You know? So it seems as though we have a culture and a tradition that says you have to assuage the perpetrator. It is the survivor, the victim now, who has to have done something. When we will now go and beg the family of the victim, we will not go and arrest the perpetrator. We go to their house and say, so how do we address these things? How do we let people know that, see, when you beat a woman, this one is not a matter of you are our owner or you are our husband. It is that you can go to jail. It is a crime. We won't be begging you. You should be in police station by now writing your statements. And so what's this relationship, and then how can we do this? And also share your final thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. When we talk of gender-based violence, you know, this sexual and gender-based violence are just symptoms of what we can call a larger disease. You know, there is the disease of inequality. We have a disease of power imbalance. And we also have the disease of a lack of respect. We don't respect the female gender. We look at them as if they are nothing. You know, all these are diseases that we need to actually look into. I think the first thing that we need to do to address this is that we need to get to the root of the problem. What actually is the problem? So that we don't leave the disease of leprosy and start treating ordinary eczema. You know, we have had a lot on certain roles that can be played by women, where women can go, where women cannot go. And we have also heard about different times that women are sexually abused, harassed, and a lot of things done unto them. Now, what do we do? Like I said, we need to look at what we can do. We look at the root cause of the problem. What really are women doing that is making them to be abused? What really? Is it the norms and traditions that have been laid down that will make a husband to just wake up and start beating the wife? Or we all know that even a husband can sexually harass and molest the wife. Abi, can it happen after paying a dowry and everything? Still possible? Okay.
It is possible, but the laws in Nigeria do not recognize it.
We do not recognize that in Nigeria.
And that's a form of violence as well. Legal violence.
It's a form of violence because by the time you come, maybe you come back from work, and Baba is saying, we pay, no. I just have to do. This thing is done against your will. That is we call it rape. And this is rape come with violence. So all we need to do, we should also address all those societal norms that encourage or perpetuate violence. And at the same time, all perpetrators should be brought to book and be made accountable. Make sure that if anyone does anything that the law talks against or whatever, we should ensure that we don't allow that person to go freely, no matter how highly placed that person may be. And how can we do this? We have to strengthen our laws. What are the laws that guide all this, our behavior towards others, our behavior towards other gender and whatever. We need to look at all these laws. We strengthen the law and ensure that we enforce these laws to the letter. It is not that, like a rape case attracts, I think, 14 years imprisonment. We should not say that maybe because...
21 actually, sir. 21 years.
21 years.
Yes, sir.
It's even 21 years. And we will still see people...
And life too, in some instances.
Who will still commit rape. Who will still commit rape when they know that when they know the punishment that is coming. If we ensure that we follow our laws to the letter, we are likely to have less of this. And we should also promote what we can call education and awareness program that we teach respect. That is, genders should respect themselves. The female gender should respect male gender should respect female gender. Then education on consent too. If you talk to me and I agree, no problem. If I don't agree, let me go in peace. And we should also have this education on healthy relationships. While we are still maybe male and female still cutting, you see them battering themselves. We have heard about the story of, the one that happened recently, I think in the northern part of Nigeria, where a boyfriend butchered and killed his girlfriend. Then another one happened in Lagos, where we cannot say exactly what actually happened, but the lady was found dead in the boyfriend's room. What are the laws that guides our relationship on this? We need to know. And finally, I want to say that everything borders on our persistence, dedication, and the desire to challenge the status quo. Like Shina Peters sang many years back, that give our women chance to talk, Abby. Give our women chance to rule. Great Britain, Philippines, Nicaragua. Now women they rule. I beg you. Oh, okay. Yes. They are sensible. They have knowledge. They are sensible. They are everything. So we should challenge the status quo that says that women cannot play a particular role. You know, even look at Nigeria today. Now man be president. Now man be vice president. Senate president. Now man. House of Reps. Now man. In Ogun State here, at you try there.
So let's put our hands together for Ogun State.
Let's clap for
There's
Ogun
gender
State.
balance.
You can see the gender balance is there. We have a man as the governor and woman as the deputy. In the House, we have a man as the speaker, and they said that woman too should be deputy speaker in. So we should challenge that and make sure that our women, they occupy their rightful place. Then all hands must be on deck. It is the duty of every one of us, not just one person. Local governments, state governments, government at all levels, NGOs, civil societies, the rich and the poor. We must all come together and ensure that we speak against oppression of women. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you so much. Okay, so because of our time, I've been informed that we have just 10 minutes left on this panel. So that 10 minutes will be divided 5 minutes each between Doctor and Chief. No, my next question will go to Doctor, then Chief will take the final round. So, Doctor, my question to you is, how do you think that religion and the current family dynamics that we have helped to worsen gender inequalities and the happening of gender-based violence? And what can we do? What are the values that we can promote so that we can put a relative end to this? What values can we promote instead of the ones that we have always emphasized, which have not gotten us too much results? So, for example, I know that things like love, respect, empathy, kindness, and so on are some of those values, which, if we all, as human beings, begin to exhibit, will help us in both in our spiritual lives and in our families. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. I feel that if we practice our religion, àwọn ẹ̀sìn wa ká ní pé a ṣe bí a ṣe yẹ ká ṣe ni, ó yẹ kí ilé wa kó máa tòrò sí. Nítorí pé mo rò pé gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wa nínú àwọn ẹ̀sìn wa èyí tó ṣe pàtàkì jù ni pé ká bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run, ká dẹ̀ fẹ́ràn àwọn ẹnìkejì wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ara wa. Tó bá jẹ́ pé yẹn ni èmi àti ẹ̀yin là ń ṣe ní gbogbo ọ̀nà, mi ò rò pé ó yẹ kí wàhálà wà. Lórí ọkọ àtaya, wọ́n ti kọ́ síbẹ̀ wípé aya bọ̀wọ̀ fún ọkọ rẹ, ọkọ náà fẹ́ràn aya rẹ. Ṣùgbọ́n wàhálà tá a máa ní rèé, a fẹ́ kẹ́nìkan kọ́kọ́ ṣe kan kí ẹnìkejì tó ṣe kejì. So obìnrin retí pé ọkọ gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ràn òun kóhun tó ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kóhun tó tẹríba. Ọkọ dẹ̀ rò wípé àfikọ́ obìnrin yẹn kọ́kọ́ ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kó kọ́kọ́ tẹríba, kóhun tó ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kóhun tó fẹ́ràn ẹ̀. Èmi fi pé nǹkan tó yẹ ká wá ṣe ni pé kí gbogbo wa ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí a ṣe. When you play your own part, the other party will also do his own part. Don't wait. Kò yẹ ká dúró kó dìgbà tọkọ mi bá ṣe léyìí lèmi náà tó ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kí n ṣe. Then lára nǹkan tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wa nínú ẹ̀sìn wa náà tún ní wípé kọ́ ọmọ rẹ ní ọ̀nà tí yóò tọ́ tó bá dàgbà tán. Èmi rí i pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbà ilé kọ́ làwọn ọmọ ti ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ jùlọ nísìn, kò dẹ̀ yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Lára nǹkan tá a dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń ṣe àti rí nǹkan kan o. Ṣe rí ọ̀tá àwọn nígbà tí àwọn ẹ̀sìn kan dé, wọ́n ń pe TV ní àpótí èṣù. Gbogbo wa yarí pé irọ́ náà ń pa fún wa. Ṣe rí nǹkan tó ń gbé sọ́wọ́ yìí gangan, òun náà ń pè ní àpótí èṣù. Àwa délé, mọ́mì gbé fóònù wọn, dáàdì gbé fóònù wọn, àwọn ọmọ náà ń gbé fóònù wọn. Ṣé Yorùbá yẹn ti wá? Ó tún wá yẹ títí ẹ̀ wá ń sọ fún mi pé fóònù tí mo rà fọ́mọ mi, mi ò ní right àti wo nǹkan tí ó wà ń bẹ̀. Àbí? Kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Òbí ló gbọ́dọ̀ tọ́ àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Ọ̀nà tó bá fi tọ́ wọn ló máa sọ nǹkan táwọn ọmọ yẹn máa ṣe kí nìyẹn o tó máa dì. And one thing I will also say, maybe against next time, I also expect that girls will be here, because what you thought about is not only for women. Káwọn ọmọ yẹn alára pàápàá kán wà níbí kán ba lè máa fi etí ara wọn gbọ́ àwọn nǹkan yìí. Nítorí pé àwọn ọmọ wa yẹn tán bá ti máa dé SS1 wọ́n ti ya nǹkan míì mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ o. Kì í ṣe primary, even gan láti primary school pàápàá wọ́n ti yà. So mo fẹ́ sọ wípé kì í ṣe ẹ̀sìn gangan ni wàhálà wa. Ìhà tí èmi àti ẹ̀yin tá a kọ sí ẹ̀sìn gangan ni ó ṣe pàtàkì. Ká ní gbogbo nǹkan tí à ń kà bóyá nínú bíbélì ni o tàbí nínú kùránì là ń ṣe kí nìyẹn o, là ń ṣe bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe ni. Mo wò wípé ó yẹ kí ayé yìí kó ti tú dáa ju bó ṣe wà lọ. Then èèyàn fúnra ẹ̀ náà, èèyàn lèèyàn náà máa jẹ́. So then issue míì tí mo dẹ̀ fi ìpadà nílò láti mọ̀, òun the issue of discipline. Ọlọ́run alára ó fi ààyè sílẹ̀ nínú bíbélì o. Ó ní wèrè wà nínú àyà ọmọ kékeré, ó ní ẹgba but now ayé ti ń da ayé ọ̀làjú wọ́n sọ fún wa wípé a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kí nìyẹn o a gbọ́dọ̀ na ọmọ mọ́ àwọn nǹkan kéékèèké yìí mi ò sọ pé kán na ọmọ ní àná lára nínú ọmọ ni pé kí n gba fóònù lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ wípé fódìdí ọ̀sẹ̀ kan o ò ní ṣe kí nìyẹn o ò ní lo fóònù lára nínú ọmọ ni pé ò ní wo tv lára nínú ọmọ ni pé ìwọ ló máa fọ gbogbo abọ́ tó yẹ kí àwọn èèyàn ṣe àwọn ṣe. The point I'm driving at is this, is that we need to be intentional about the younger generation. Ẹ sì ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa oúnjẹ. Ṣé ọmọ tí mo send lọ sí private school tó jẹ́ pé obìnrin ni ó ń ra oúnjẹ jẹ tí mi ò kọ́ bọ́ ṣe máa ṣe oúnjẹ jẹ ńlé á wá ní ọkọ ẹ wá sọ wípé àwa máa sọ fọ́kọ ẹ̀ wípé òun ò mọ oúnjẹ sè ẹ wá rò pé ọkọ ẹ̀ ò ní lé padà lọ́dọ̀ sọ́dọ̀ ìyá ẹ̀. So what I'm trying to say is this: every mother here, we have a responsibility to train the younger generation. Àtọkùnrin o, àtobìnrin o, a gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́ wọn ní gbogbo àwọn bóyá iṣẹ́ ilé ni o, bó ṣe ń bọ̀wọ̀ fún ara wọn ni o, àti gbogbo nǹkan tí ó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe kí nìyẹn o, kí wọ́n ṣe. Then a gbọ́dọ̀ rí wípé àwọn ọmọ wa yìí bá a ṣe fẹ́ kí wọ́n kàwé ju àwa náà lọ, kí wọ́n mọ̀wé ju àwa náà lọ nínú ìwà. A gbọ́dọ̀ rí pé àwọn ọmọ yìí wọ́n tún ṣe kí nìyẹn o, wọ́n tún dára ju àwa náà lọ, nítorí pé wàhálà ta ní ni pé à ń kọ́ àwọn ọmọ tó mọ̀wé ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò ṣe kí nìyẹn o, wọn ò ní ìwà. So a dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ rí pé ìwà wà nínú nǹkan tí à ń kọ́ wọn. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé tá a bá lè ṣerú ẹ̀ mo mọ̀ wípé á ràn wá lọ́wọ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. I believe a man and a woman Ọlọ́run dá wọn nìkan náà, ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ti wà nínú ìgbéyàwó ọkọ ni olórí aya. Tó o bá lè tẹríba fún ọkọ ẹ bó ṣe yẹ kó o tẹríba fún, mo gbàgbọ́ pé àwọn ọkùnrin yẹn wọ́n ń ṣe wèrè o, òótọ́ tó wà ńbẹ̀ nìyẹn o. A dẹ̀ lè ní bá a ṣe lè mú wọn táwa fúnra ara wa tá a bá ṣe ojúṣe wa. And I pray as we do that, God is going to help each and every one of us. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you
God
very
bless.
much, Doctor. We are so grateful. And so my final question is going to Chief Dapo Oke on this panel this afternoon. So Chief, after all said and done, there's something called toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. Okay. Yes. Where, just as we have been saying, men are raised to be strong. Men don't cry. Men don't do this. Men don't do that. And so, okay, men are the head of women. So you get to work and you want to be the head of the person who employed you. You are going through grief. You're going through really tough emotions, but you don't share with anyone just because of how society has raised you to think that that's how you should be as a man. How can we break this? And then as a people, there's a tendency for us to think, I'm too small. So for example, if we had thought that we are having a very wonderful here this afternoon because of the small efforts that we put in at our own corner, what efforts can each of us put in our own little corners to help in the fight for gender equality? Thank you.
Well, nígbà tí doctor ń sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́kan, wọ́n sọ fún wa pé the Bible tells us wípé ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin, ẹ̀yin obìnrin, ẹ tẹríba fún àwọn ọkọ yín. Ẹ̀yin ọkọ ńkọ́, ẹ fẹ́ràn ìyàwó yín. That is the basic truth for home management. Sherry, toxic relationship starts from one party disrespecting the other. It can be the man disrespecting the wife, and it can also be the wife disrespecting the husband. In most cases, tá bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ gender violence, Iṣẹ́ la máa ń wò ó pé ọkùnrin nìkan ló wà guilty. In gender violence, women are also very guilty.
Yes, that's right.
Because ẹlòmíì wà tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ sílẹ̀ báyìí, á dàbí kó o fún gbàtí. But when you now raise your hand to beat your wife, it becomes what? Gender violence. Well, what about the spoken words?
There's verbal violence too, and emotional violence.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, it's part of gender-based violence.
And as we are talking about, you know, the way the doctor said that, well, the phone, the other things too. Sherry, problem tani. Oni pe òfin ti pọ̀. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí òfin ṣe wà, pé the weaker sex, the women are the weaker sex, we should take care of them, and so we, you know, the rights obìnrin wà protected. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni a tún ní child abuse o.
That's true.
Tó fi jẹ́
Thank
pé
you, sir.
tó o bá ṣe àwọn nǹkan kan fún àwọn ọmọ yẹn sìn, o tún lè jẹ̀bi o, especially tó bá tẹ̀ tún lọ jẹ́ o kọjá sí ìlú òyìnbó lọ́hùn-ún. In fact, ìlú obìnrin nìyẹn. That is when you see a man carrying the bag and the child, and the woman will be walking freely. Ṣé ẹ lè ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bí báyìí? Wọ́n á sọ pé wọ́n ní ìyàwó ẹ̀ ti ṣẹ̀fọ́ fún bí ni. So please, àwọn nǹkan kan wà tá a ní láti take care of, so that it will not resolve into toxic, you know, relationship. Òun ni ìwà, gẹ́gẹ́ bọ́n ṣe sọ, ìwà from both sides. Sherry, women should also, as a matter of parting words here, but I'm sorry, nípa gender's role the other time, àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan wà náà tó jẹ́ pé àwa la create ẹ̀, àti believe pé ọkùnrin ló gbọ́dọ̀ sanwó school ọmọ. Wọ́n ti lé wa kó school ẹ̀ lọ bá bàbá ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní ká mú ìwé wa, wọ́n ní ká mú káràwé kan lọ bá bàbá ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní ká dáwó ní school lọ bá bàbá ẹ̀. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ yẹn náà gbọ́n díẹ̀? They begin to wonder pé everything lọ bá bàbá ẹ̀, everything lọ bá bàbá ẹ̀. But tó bá yá, they keep that one, you know, in their mind. Ipe bàbá ló ń ṣe gbogbo nǹkan. Mama is always, but I lọ sí school, a ò mẹ́ni tó ń sanwó school, because tá a bá fẹ́ gbowó school, bàbá máa sọ pé lọ bá màmá ẹ̀ kó gba owó lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Bó ṣe kówó fúnra wọn, àmọ́ my father was a head teacher, my mother a trader. Teacher máa gbowó níparí oṣù, kí oṣù tó parí wọn á ti ná tán. Àwa dẹ̀ máa wáyé láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀. Ọwọ́ ta lówó máa wà, owó trader. Bọ̀ nígbà tí a bá ń lọ, bàbá máa sọ pé mo ti ṣètò lọ bá màmá ẹ̀. Who pays? A ò mọ̀. That was how we were raised. And so nígbà yẹn náà tí o bá rò pé o confide nínú màmá ẹ̀ tó sọ nǹkan kan fún, ó di gbangba ló wà, because lálẹ́ wọ́n á jọ sọ lọ́kọ àtìyàwó. That's how to raise the family. Kì í ṣe pé ìyá máa kọlẹ̀ sí ọmọ ń dì against the father. And let me again say this. Ṣé rí ẹ̀yin ìyá, àwọn ọmọ ẹni investment yín o. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe láyé yìí, àwọn ọmọ yẹn ni o. Tí wọ́n bá dàgbà tán, tí wọ́n bá di anything tán bá dà, ẹ̀yin náà máa kọ́kọ́ mọ̀. And it starts from the fact that ẹ̀yẹn náà wò, tẹ́ bá fún ọmọ lọ́yàn, ibo lọmọ máa ń wò? Ojú ìyá yẹn ló máa ń wò. And that's why kò sí nǹkan tí bàbá lè ṣe to carry the attention of the child, bó ti ń kó ṣe tó ìyá lọmọ máa mọ̀. But at the same time, àwọn ìyá kan wà tó jẹ́ wípé they are just toxic in that family. Wọn ò mọ àwọn gangan, in fact, ìwà tí wọ́n burú ju ti ọkùnrin gan lọ, to raise their children. And so àwọn ọmọ yẹn mo sọ wọ́n gbọ́n, wọ́n mọ everything, wọ́n dẹ̀ mú sí ọkàn tó bá dàgbà tán. But let me again say this. ṣe rí àwọn ọmọ wa ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́ wọn lóòótọ́ ṣùgbọ́n special attention must be paid to our daughters. And do you know why? Because they have a limited time to live with you. Wọ́n máa tó kúrò and they go and start another life with another family. Irú family tó ń lọ yẹn mọ́ maybe bàbá ọkọ ló máa ní toxic behaviour attitude. Bóyá ìyá ọkọ bóyá àbúrò ọkọ ni. And so every pressure is on that girl. It now takes the wisdom of God, the emotional, the intelligence, the native intelligence, tó ti kọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ màmá ẹ̀ wá ló máa fi cope mbẹ́. So please, this toxic thing we are talking about can be in various degrees. But it's all important jù ní wípé when we have taught our children the right attitude to life, they will know exactly how to cope, because the girl today will become the wife tomorrow. Just like he said, we will have brought our girl child to this place to also learn one or two things that we are saying here, because very soon they will also be in your shoes. And again, then too, Sherry, tá bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa gender problems. A lot have been said here, pé obìnrin ni ọ̀tá ara wọn. When you see a man that is not responsible at home, another woman outside is the cause. Yes, another woman outside is the cause. Ìyàwó mi òun déta ó sọ fún pé that woman, don't mind her, kò ní ṣóúnjẹ fún mi, ṣóúnjẹ ni problem ẹ̀. I remember my father called me one day. He told me that, Dapo, no matter the problem you have in your marriage, don't attempt to marry a second wife. And I said, why? He said, if you leave a woman because she's not greeting your parents, the one you are going to marry will be greeting your parents, but she will not be taking care of your children. If you say, oh, I will marry another one, tó máa fẹ́ a máa tọ́jú àwọn òbí ẹ̀ a máa ṣùgbọ́n kò ní ó lè ya ọ̀bùn ó lè jẹ́ oníṣìnà. And so various degrees of attitude and behaviour ló wà, but ìwọ ló mọ tí Ọlọ́run fi sí ẹ ní inú gbá. Therefore, go and modify it to your choice. Modify that woman. You can make her. It is possible for a man to make a woman what he likes, what he loves. I hope you understand what I'm saying now. So whatever the problem we have, we should learn to manage ourselves. We should not resort to violence most of the time. Ìgbà tó yá wọ́n parí ìjà fún yín lénìí, wọ́n parí ìjà fún yín lánàá, ó tún dọ̀la ti tún bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ìgbà tó bá yá wọ́n sọ fún yín pé wọ́n ti tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ rí àwọn ará ilé yín, wọ́n ti tún bẹ̀rẹ̀. Therefore, we should learn to cope with our neighbors, with ourselves, and with our family. And finally, let us increase our participation in politics. Ẹ̀yin obìnrin, ẹ̀yin lẹ pọ̀ jù, mo ti sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Ṣùgbọ́n tá a náà bá wọn ṣe dáadáa, wọ́n ti sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, wọ́n ní we have deputy governor obìnrin, we have deputy speaker obìnrin, a lot of permanent secretaries too are also women. I've seen Dr. Oshore here. Oh, she's here. That was the immediate past registrar of Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. She's a woman. She handed over to another woman. Look at my sister there, former rector of Ojitech Igbesa. Abi? Aha. Look at my sister there. She retired as a very senior person in our Ministry of Agriculture, Abibeko, and dressed like that. Many people here are here. Tó jẹ́ wípé láì sí ẹ̀kọ́ láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀, ṣé wọ́n lè débẹ̀? And I'm saying this because most of the places where you see women managing, they manage it better than men. And that is because a lot of when Toba Dele, one might share experience tó ní pẹ̀lú níbi iṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọkọ wọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n advice wọn. But in most cases, àwa ọkùnrin, we would never take that one home. We would rather take it outside. And the former governor of Cross River State said something, that when you see a governor who is successful, it is the first lady. Because talk about the ló máa sọ fún pé decision tẹ́ take ní exco yín yẹn kò dẹ̀ yẹ kẹ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ o, báyìí ló yẹ kẹ́ ṣe o, báyìí ló yẹ kẹ́ ṣe o, and so and so forth. Ṣé rí gbogbo nǹkan tó wà láyé yìí ló ní bó ṣe yẹ ká. And of course, things are changing. A lot of women, like I said, are now in, position of responsibilities, and we have that. And more females. In fact, let me tell you this. In my own university, for instance, we have more female in the employment of the university than male. And you know what happened? Recently, we want to redeploy this one. They were now coming and say, I said, why? But we don't have enough men. And one day I now told another woman who is a deputy registrar telling me, that's fine. Who report from Professor, because in my school we have a center for woman rights and gender education. The prof here is directly in charge. Is the head or is the director of that. When you have gender issues, we report to that center. Recently, I just sent one issue to that center. Ìyàwó kan wá report ọkọ ẹ̀. Ó ń gbowó oṣù, kò ń sanwó school ọmọ ẹ̀, kò ń fowó lẹ́ǹlé. Tó bá ti gbowó oṣù, á lọ sùn sá fún bíi 4 days. Tó bá tán, á padà wálé. Aha. So when the woman now reported, we referred to that center, and they interviewed the man and the wife. At the end of the day, they recommended that obìnrin yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ máa san owó, and that money will be deducted from his salary and be given to that woman, because ọmọ yẹn ti wà ní university, federal university for that matter, miles away from Ìjẹ̀bú Òde. So ṣé kàn lé ọmọ yẹn kúrò ní àbí kó lọ join court gbàtọ́ ò bá àbí so ẹ ti understand what mo sọ ń sìn. And so things are changing too. Most of the prices tá à ní universities ní polytechnic sìn àwọn ló ń win ẹ̀, àwọn obìnrin ló ń win ẹ̀ o. I'm telling you, Prof, is that not right? Most of the prices tẹ́ bá lọ sí convocation sìn tọ́ba ní best student is also obìnrin ni, best student is also obìnrin ni, best student. One day we now ask ourselves, ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin bó lẹ́wà? Somebody has told me wọ́n ti lọ ṣe yahoo. So please, Bíbélì sọ pé tọ́ ọmọ ẹ kó lè fún ẹ ní sinmi. So we love this program because, like it was rightly mentioned from the beginning, all of you will go home with one lesson or the other. Ọmọ ẹ tí o mọ̀ wípé o ò fún lówó tó 10,000 naira tó gbé mọ́tò wálé, ọmọ yín ò ṣàgbàfọ̀, ó ń gbaṣọ wálé, ẹ rójú olè ẹ ò mú. Bí tí mo wà ń bí báyìí, they sent a situation report to me from my university now. They just arrested one lady. Ó kọ̀ mí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yẹn ní Kano. Gbàtọ́ máa wo inú àkáǹtì, they met 5.3 million naira. Lákàǹtì student. I just received that situation report. It's presently with the police now. Aiding kidnapping, receiving money from. So this, ṣe báwọn ìyá kan, a kàn yọ owó aṣọ tó rà nígbà tá a wà ní school. Tó o bá mú nǹkan tí kì í ṣe tiẹ̀ wálé, wọ́n máa lé ẹ padà pé ó yá dá padà. But nísìnyí, àwọn náà máa gba adìyẹ lọ́wọ́ ọmọ. Ibi tó ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn o. So please, ẹ má jẹ́ ká fi ojú kòkòrò tó àwọn ọmọ wa, so that tomorrow they will be very useful to us. Thank you very much, Eshe.
Thank you very much, Chief. I was wondering what we would do this afternoon because of time. Thank you so much, Chief. We are really grateful. Thank you for your wonderful insights. And with this, we have come to the end of this wonderful panel. I'd love to thank all our participants in this panel. I would love to thank our speakers. We had such an enjoyable time. Just to answer that question about the young girls, we did extend an invitation. In fact, that place was reserved for the girls, but unfortunately they are writing exams now, and that's why they can't be here. So next time we'll be mindful not to fix the program around the time that they are writing exams. This is our maiden edition, and then we are still having teething problems. Thank you very much, sirs. And I would just like to request that we rise up for a photograph, and then while we wait behind for the presentation of our awards. Thank you. Mrs. Bisiriu, please join us, ma'am.